Call the meeting to order. Recording and or broadcast of this meeting is being made at the direction of the board, which may capture images and sounds of those attending the meeting. Call the roll. Steve.
Here.
Brian.
Present.
Vladimir.
I am here.
Shelley. Present. I am here also. Let's get up for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Any board member want to provide comment on the agenda? Can I get a motion to approve the agenda?
I'll second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Passes 5-0. Moving on to closed session report. There was no action taken during closed session. Ms. McGonigal, superintendent's report.
All right, just a short one tonight. Want to say congratulations to our 8th grade graduates. It was so much fun on Thursday, going to both Egan and Block to see our 8th graders off. And I will let you know that on Thursday, Vladimir and I attended our preschool graduation. And it was, and Carrie was there as well, it was, and Marcy, it was incredible. It is so sweet to see our little 3- and 4-year-olds come have their preschool time with us come to a close. It was really fabulous.
There was no meltdown.
And there was no meltdown, maybe some tears on this end, but it was it was really very, very sweet. And we're so proud of our inclusion preschool and Jennifer Kiker and Christina Murata and Miss Lisa over there and her entire team do a phenomenal job. And then just wanted to say thank you. This is our last meeting of our school year, which means I've mostly survived as being a superintendent. So thank you all. I appreciate everyone's support. It's been a really great year.
Thank you. All right, moving on to the consent calendar. Do I have any board members provide comment on the consent calendar? Can I get a motion to approve the consent calendar?
So moved.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, that's 5-0. We do not have Chris Hazelton here to speak for Los Altos Teachers Association and no one here to speak for the California School Employees Association. All right, to provide public comment on an agenda item, speaker cards are to be submitted to the superintendent. Speaker cards will not be accepted once public comments begin. Your name will be announced when it is your turn to speak. Do you have any community comment? No. Moving on to action discussion items, local indicators for the California dashboard.
Sorry.
Good evening. This evening, I'm bringing forward the Los Altos School District Local Indicator Dashboard Report. This is the annual compliance item that we bring forward to the board each year prior to July 1st and on the same evening that the LCAP is to be approved. And in California, there are 8 priority areas. The local indicators report covers about half of those, whereas the dashboard covers the other half. And so each LEA or each district is required to do a self-assessment and determine if the indicator has been met, not met, or not met for 2 years. I'm proud to report that each of these indicators have been met this evening, so this will be a very brief overview and more information in the deck if you'd like to review each section. Again, this is just a progress measure as opposed to a status measure, so we'll be giving you our assessment about the different levels. Level 1 is exploration, all the way to level 5, which we would call full implementation with sustainability. Priority 1 is about textbooks, facilities, qualified teachers. We believe, working with our facilities department, our HR department, our C&I department, that these conditions have been met as specified. Priority 2 is our work around implementing state standards. This includes our professional learning, our instructional materials, again, in each of the core areas, as well as policies and programs that govern these programs. Again, we believe that each of these have been met, although we have indicated that we believe we're in initial implementation around our history and social science work. We still have some development to do in curriculum and professional learning in that area. And then, and as you know, for science, we're just adopted the 6-8, so we're in progress towards full implementation with sustainability in that area. The next 3 slides are our work around parent engagement. This standard we believe has been met. However, we have not self-determined a 5. We think we can always do better, continuously improve in this area. So we've indicated a 4 for building relationships, for partnerships, for student outcomes, and for input for decision making. We did give ourselves a 5 on one little spot there, and that's working with our families, our teachers, our principals, and our district administrators to get input from our parents to help us with decision making. That's everything from the involvement of our PTAs, as well as our district level committees, curriculum council, the UAC. We feel proud about that work. Priority 6 is school climate. And so I've given you just a little sample of our recent student survey. So this was administered to kiddos in grades 4 through 8. And some examples of questions in this is: this teacher believes I can learn. Out of 5, we scored a 4.47 average. I have a good friend in this class, a 4.43 out of 5 average, and I feel safe in this class, 4.31 out of 5. And we know we have some areas to grow on that. We always want to continuously improve in each of these areas, but it's important to us that our kids feel safe and that our parents believe that they have a safe learning environment for their students. Priority 7 is about course access, so students having the ability to take the classes across the core areas. We feel really proud about our offerings, particularly we're in a small district, and our junior highs are offering a variety of elective offerings as well as our base sport offerings. So we believe this indicator has been met, as well as our students having access to additional activities. And this just shows you how we assess that. Gives you a little sample. We look at Power School, we look at the site master schedules, we look at our art docent and living classroom schedules, our health education offerings, our elective catalogs to make this assessment. And that is the full overview of the indicators. Happy to take any questions.
Anybody have any questions? Yeah.
Just a clarifying question.
Yeah.
In the survey, I feel safe in this class. What can you kind of explain how's the word safe, like explained to the kids? Is it safe from bullies or physically safe? I don't know.
It's really open to their perception of safe. But a focus group with students would get a little bit more at that, getting some more input qualitatively around what do they mean when they feel safe or unsafe.
Yeah. I would just be curious to know if we can do this. Just curious.
Any other questions?
Oh, sorry.
Good job.
That's not a question. Any board comment? Yes.
Just to echo Charlie's comment, that was the one that jumped out at me too,
Yeah.
just because terminology, so it would be nice to see a little bit of follow-up. Just about whether there were patterns that we saw or a lot of kids, I mean, I saw that you said the average was still 4.3, so presumably there's sort of a lot of 3 to 5, so I'm more concerned if there would be patterns or pockets of 1 to 2, so, but I'm sure you're following that.
Right, any other board comment? All right, thank you very much. Moving on to the LCAP.
Yes, this evening, we're bringing forward the LCAP and the federal addendum for approval. We reviewed the presentation at our last meeting. So I'd ask this evening for your approval.
Anybody have any more comments or questions on the LCAP? All right, I have no comment. Can I get a motion to approve the 2023-24 local control and accountability plan and federal addendum?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Passes 5-0. Moving on to the 2023-24 district budget. Check.
So last week, we were able to do the public hearing to go over the 23-24 budget. Tonight is part of the last component to actually adopt the budget. Budget adoption is coupled with the LCAP, which you heard Carrie talk about tonight. So we did the public hearing, both happened last week. So tonight we're asking for the adoption. The presentation was done last week and it's included in the tonight's slide as an appendix. And our budget reflects the goals and objectives stated in our LCAP. And this budget was developed using state adopted criteria standards. We were able to certify our budget for this year and the next 2 out years. And it complies with SB 858 reserve cap. And our recommendation is tonight to ask for adoption of the 23-24 budget.
Any more questions and comments about the budget? Any public comment? Anyway, can I get a motion to approve the 23-24 district budget?
So moved.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Passes 5-0. Moving on to resolution 22-23-17, authorization to increase, decrease income and expenditures. That's it.
And this is a routine item that happens every year, also during first and second interim. This is a routine item to balance our budget, increase of expenditures from all the different funds. Sub Fund 60 is our categoricals, and which is our routine maintenance and other categorical programs. Sub Fund 80 is our special ed, and our general fund is a Fund 01. So that's a routine item, increase expenditures and income, a little bit of revenue. And if you have any questions, free to hear, ask any questions.
Any questions or comments on this? No? Can I get a motion to approve resolution 22-23-17, authorization to increase, decrease income and expenditures?
So moved.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
5-0. On to Measure and Citizens Bond Oversight Committee Annual Report.
Do you think we can get done by 7:30?
Oh my God.
So Vishal Verma submitted this, the annual report. Also attached in tonight's document is the Measure N annual audit from Siobhan Associates. We met with the Bond Oversight Committee in March 30th, reviewed the Paul Pham with Siobhan Associates was there, went over the audit with the committee. And then part of that committee's job is to give an annual report. And so attached tonight for your review and acceptance is the annual audit report. And then also the annual letter from the Citizen Oversight Committee from Vishal. And Vishal has turned out, he's has resigned, is not going to be with us next year. So this is his final letter to the committee. So thank you.
Yes, thank you.
I also want to acknowledge Tamara Fagan for being on the committee for many years. She's is resigned, stepping down. So just great, Janelle Gieselman as well. So we're losing a couple key people. So we'll be working, we'll be asking the board for some recruiting for us for next year. But we do have 4 members on, but we need to do 3 replacements for next fall.
Okay, I'll keep my ears out for that. Anybody have any comments or questions on this? All right, can I get a motion to approve, I guess, the filing of the annual report, I guess? What are we approving?
Accepting it.
Accepting it. All right, sorry.
Okay.
Yes,
Yeah.
so moved. Whatever. it is.
Whatever it is. All in favor?
Aye.
Moving on to resolution 22-23-19. Declaring, let's just say that for now. And then
Sure.
when I have to ask for a motion, I'll read it all.
So our special ed department, they're really working hard to try to find some funds to have some playground improvements here at Covington School. And so the playground that we have out here is really not inclusive, very difficult for special needs students that have some mobility issues to be able to access the equipment. So we have a vendor that does this work. They're a nationwide vendor, and part of the idea is if we can lock in this vendor at sometime this summer and find the right funding mechanism, we could probably get this project done hopefully by the end of the year, the calendar year. But however, you have to go through public bidding requirements. And to get this actual vendor, we can pass a resolution tonight. So we're asking the board to pass a special resolution authorizing us to get into a contract with this vendor in the future. Most likely we'll do that in July. To follow public contract code, anything over $60,000 must go to public formal bid. But if we would do similar, they call a joint powers authority, they have a thing called piggybacking contract. You can actually, another entity, another city, municipality, school district, somewhere else has already publicly bid this out. So now if we enter into this resolution, we can actually get that contract that was already bid out. So it saves a tremendous amount of money. Many school districts across the nation do these type of joint powers contracts, and that's what we're asking the board to tonight. So we're asking for resolution 2223-19 to declare the district's membership in Omnia and authorize us to the district to enter into a contract for the purchase, delivery, and installation of certain playground equipment, site accessories, surfacing, related products and services from Play and Park Structures Incorporated.
That's a mouthful.
It's an action item.
Yes. Anybody have any questions or comments? No? I like I love the idea that we're doing this. It's about time. So can I get a motion to pass resolution 2223-19? Declaring the district's membership in Omnia and authorization to enter into contract for the purchase, delivery, and installation of certain playground equipment, accessory servicing, and related products and services from Play and Park Structures, Inc.
So moved.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
This is 5-0. Moving on to consideration of approval of findings regarding joint use agreements, consideration of approval and renewal of joint use agreements.
Sure. So at this time last year, the board entered into some extension of contracts with the child care providers so we could have more time to negotiate contracts, and we were able to do that. And if you look at the terms of the agreements, staff members who have their children at the certain providers at their school receive a 50% discount, which is what we think is a great benefit to our staff members. And then the other thing is we also made sure that there's some inflationary factors put in for annual CPI adjustments, which is done. All the agreements have gone up a minimum of 4% this year. And in the terms of the agreements, between 3% and 6%, depending on what the inflation is for the consumer price indexes for every year. And part of our agreements, these are all been reviewed with legal counsel and with the child care providers. So tonight we're asking you to consider approval of joint use findings of these agreements and consideration approval of the renewal of the joint use agreements. We also, last year at this time, we renewed stepping stones agreement. So now all of our leases with our child care providers will all have the same terms. So this will be 4 years from today's date. So they'll all can be renewed at the same time, which makes it a lot easier for staff.
Anybody have any questions or comments on this? Yeah.
I just have one quick question. Do you have any sense of whether the lease agreements are sort of market rate or they're not market rate? I don't have a particular argument either way. I think they're in some way the service to the community, so I don't mind if they're discounted to market rate, but I couldn't tell.
You know, when we were negotiating with the providers, it was going to be really tough after COVID. So many of them haven't really fully recovered to get up to market rate.
Right.
We feel that the rates are comparable to what other people are paying for in childcare providers.
Okay.
I don't know if it's the full market rate, but we do feel with annual CPI adjustments, we can slowly get up to.
So at least it's not like a 90% discount, right?
Correct. And we do feel like they're providing great service to our community and the district, but at the same time, there are annual CPI adjustments for us that will help us with our annual increases as well.
That sounds great. Thank you.
And the whole thing with the teachers and staff members having the 50% that is of value to us in maintaining our teachers.
Absolutely.
Staff.
And I just remember when my kids were at the YMCA at their elementary school, it was a great, you really valued it. And you didn't have to worry about, you had to get there by 6 before they closed.
Yeah.
But it was a great thing after school. It's such a nice relief for a parent to be able to have their kids at their school where they go to school. They go walk right over to the after school provider.
Yeah.
And it is a great thing for staff members. So we think it's a great thing.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, can I get a motion to approve the findings regarding joint use agreement and approve the renewal of the joint use agreement?
So moved.
I'll second.
All in favor? This is 5-0. Moving on to amendment to the 2022-25 employment agreement with superintendent of schools. The Board of Trustees will, oh, I kept on reading. You want me to? I'm just reading a lot today.
I have a lot to read.
Yes. So, Ms. McGough, do I just continue on, or anybody have any questions about this? Yeah,
Can we,
no,
does it make sense?
we can't do them all together. We have to do them separately. Is that what you're gonna ask?
Yes,
Because I have to read things each one. of them.
yeah, all right.
Yeah, I would have.
So generally
Yeah.
in front of you tonight is an amendment to my contract, to Eric's contract and a new contract for Carrie,
Okay.
as we have a change in title
Yeah.
for her as well. So
Okay.
I'll let you proceed, Jessica.
All right, I'm gonna share this following information. The proposed amendment to the 22-25 employment agreement with the superintendent of school provides the same 6% cost of living increase provided to all employee salary schedules effective July 1, 2022, and a 6% cost of living increase to all employee salary schedules effective July 1, 2023. If property tax growth is above 6% at the first interim December 2023, an additional 0.5 salary increase will be implemented to the 6% increase for fiscal year 2023-2024. The annual base salary under the agreement would be amended to $297,754 effective of July 1, 2023. Can I get a motion to approve this amendment to the superintendent of schools
So moved.
contract?
One second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Passes 5-0. Moving on to 23-25 employment agreement with assistant superintendent of schools educational services. So as Sandra said, we have 3 of these agreements in front of us today. This one, let me read the information on this one. The district is entering into a new 2-year employment agreement effective July 1, 2023, and will expire on June 30th, 2025, unless sooner terminated as provided in the agreement. The assistant superintendent's base salary for 2023-2024 shall be $260,883 plus $2,500 for doctorate degree. The annual base salary shall be subject to an annual COLA increase that the district approves for all other employee salary schedules. Can I get a motion to approve the employment agreement with the assistant superintendent of schools education services?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, passes 5-0. Moving on to amendment to the 2022-24 employment agreement with the Assistant Superintendent of Schools Business Services. The proposed amendment to the 2022-24 employment agreement with the Assistant Superintendent of Schools Business Services provides the same 6% cost of living increase provided to all employee salary schedules effective July 1, 2022, and a 6% cost of living increase to all employee salary schedules effective July 1, 2023. If property tax growth is above 6% at first interim December 2023, an additional 0.5% salary increase will be implemented to the 6% increase for fiscal year 2023-2024. The annual base salary under the agreement would be amended to $260,883 plus $1,500 for a second master's degree effective July 1, 2023. Can I get a motion to approve the amendment to the 2022-24 employee agreement with Assistant Superintendent of Schools Business Services?
Yes. So moved.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Moving right along, resolution 22-23-18, declaration of need for fully qualified educators.
You probably remember this, you do this every single last board meeting of the school year, but this resolution provides us that flexibility should we need to hire a teacher with an emergency permit. I don't believe in many years we've actually done that, but it's a nice back pocket trick to have. So we ask that you approve that tonight.
All right, can I get a motion to approve resolution 22-23-18 declaration of need for fully qualified educators?
So moved.
I'll second.
All in favor? Aye. All right, moving on to board and administration comments. Terry. All right,
Thank you.
Eric. All right, Sandra,
Nothing else.
Shelley,
No, I'm good.
Vladimir,
I have a long list.
Oh,
Nothing.
Brian.
Funny every year.
It's
Nothing.
funnier over time. doesn't it?
That's right.
Yeah.
Nothing for me.
All right, Steve.
Okay.
And I got nothing. Meeting adjourned.
Yeah.